Hello, motherfuckers. Welcome to
God.
the Lona Spoilercast.
What is this accent?
I'm Samuel L. Jackson.
It's a Royale with cheese.
It's a Royale with cheese. We're talking about Samuel L. Jackson's best performance. That's me.
You sound like Tracy Morgan.
Based on his performance in Secret Invasion, which is what we are reviewing in this episode of the Spoiler Cast. It's been a while since we've done one of these.
It's been a long time. Guardians of the Galaxy was the last one.
Fuck, man. Yeah. And of course, we're joined by the star of the show, Samuel L. Jackson, aka Nick Fury. How are you doing, Nick Fury? Oh, I'm doing just great. Thanks for having me on, boys.
Now you sound like Bernie Sanders.
You take the 1%, the 2%, and then you make it into a milk.
Yeah, that's true. That's why he should have been president. He had hot takes like that.
He's got the hot takes. All right. I can't do a motherfucking Samuel L. Jackson voice.
You tried, and I appreciate it.
I tried, but we're not here for about that. We're here to tell you about how terrible Secret Invasion was. Because holy shit, the show was terrible. That's my take on it. Jake, what did you think?
I also didn't love the show. I don't think I hated it as much as like the internet hates it. No,
that's fair.
I think I had some redeeming qualities. I thought, like, for one, I thought the actors, they all were pretty good. I didn't dislike the writing that they were saying was like so bad.
Yeah, but they delivered it really well.
Well, it's just so weird because like a lot of them are older people. Like Sam Jackson is nearly 80 years old, and that woman, I can't even remember the like old British lady. You know, she's older.
Oh yeah. What was her name?
But they all talk like Zoomers. I don't know if you noticed that.
You're 100% right. Yeah,
they all talked like they were young people. And
Olivia Colman.
Yes.
Sarah Caroline Sinclair.
Yeah, and she was like the agent lady. I don't know.
Yeah, Sonia Fallsworth is her name. I got the Wikipedia up, boy. I'm ready for this.
I thought also visually, like, it wasn't terrible. Like it looked kind of okay. It wasn't like anything impressive, but it was like, this looks fine. And it was also a bit more graphic than I had anticipated it to be. And
there's a lot of deaths. Yeah, there's a lot of death in this one.
And I think they get away with it by having the like green blood, you know? Instead of regular blood. But there was some regular blood.
And you can kill aliens.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like specifically in that last episode where like they're like, and even real humans are dying, and then there's just like a dude on the ground with a pool of blood around him, and I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah, but ultimately, like, I don't know, this show, it just sucks because Sam Jackson's been Nick Fury for so long, and we've all kind of wanted a series or a movie where he gets to do his thing as Nick Fury, and we got this, and it just, I don't know, man, it just didn't hit right.
Yeah, there was like, okay, so I can't 100% blame the writers for this. Yeah. Because there's a reason they're killing all these people off and doing these certain things. Because it's setting up for the next movie or whatever the fuck this is setting up for. So like Hill dies at the first episode.
That was wild.
It's like, which is like really fucking sad because Maria Hill was a great character and we barely got her in the show and she's dead. And it's like, oh, okay, well, fuck me.
And we barely got her just in the MCU in general. Like, I would have liked to see her character get fleshed out eventually.
Yeah.
And also, the worst part about her death was that she died in, like, the first episode, and there's nothing... They barely mention it. I know they like, go to the funeral or whatever at one point, but, like, I don't know. They don't even really... He doesn't seem affected by it. Like, Nick Fury doesn't seem affected by it. Yeah. Talos dies.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Which you get rid of that fucking actor. What is his name? I can't remember. I can never remember his name.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn. Yeah.
He's
great.
I have written in my notes here, Ben Mendelsohn always sounds like his dentures are about to fall out.
It's true. It is true. But I love him as an actor.
Yeah,
and
he's good.
And they killed him off, which is fine.
Yeah.
Super Skrulls are in this.
It could have
very, very like mid.
Yeah.
Like end fight, I guess.
It looked okay. It was just like unnecessary. And
it didn't feel good. Like it didn't feel like it meant anything.
Yeah, and there's a way to do it where it doesn't feel super cheesy and lame. And like I think of like Peacemaker, right? Like the things like go into their brain and they kind of give people like super strength or whatever. And the way they handled it in that made it seem like a genuine like threat, and like they explained it well. In this, it was just like we're gonna be Super Skrulls, and that was it. It's just like, oh yeah, we're Super Skrulls because we can be, and it's like, oh, okay.
And it's really weird, the whole thing, like the whole main plot, which isn't described until like the last 2 episodes, is like getting the harvest and like making themselves stronger based on the blood of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't explain how that's even like, is that just a thing Skrulls can do if they just like, stand in the rays of blood, they can absorb the powers.
Like they get the blood of these people too. Like,
well, Nick Fury like has them collect it from the battles.
What's her face? Gaia. She like turns into Korg at one point, and I'm like, how'd you get the blood of Korg?
Yeah,
like she gets the rock arm, and you're like, what? How?
No, dude, that's the thing.
I was thinking that like maybe.
So I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. The Super Skrull part was really dumb.
When did Nick Fury get the blood of Drax? How do you even get the blood of Groot?
After Endgame is what I'm guessing, because they were all on Earth and they were all like fighting Thanos at the end at that big.
Yeah, they probably all had like
nameless fucking war torn area that looks nothing like Earth,
Well, it was outside the Avengers compound.
It wasn't even war torn. It was like just, this is what the Avengers compound looks like. Yeah. It's just a fucking rocky crag that is perfect for blowing people up.
Well, they did move it there on purpose, right? Because they said they moved the Avengers Tower. I forget which movie it is. They moved the Avengers Tower because they thought it was too dangerous to have it in the city.
In the city? Yeah, well, that makes sense. But like
so it's in like upstate New York.
Yeah. So I think overall there was one good episode. This is a show where you watch that one episode and then don't watch any of the other ones. Because it just it jumps all over the place. It tries to do too much shit.
Way too many characters.
It tries to make storylines that don't matter. Like fucking Nick Fury's got a wife that nobody knew about, but they don't like, they care about each other, but they don't care about each other. Like the end of the movie, Nick Fury's like, I love you, and she's like a fucking alien. He's like, I love you for who you are, but they've been together for like 60 fucking years or something like that. And it's like, this is 30. The first time this is coming up where it's like, I love you because you're an alien and that won't ever change. It felt like a fucking a high school drama.
Right. It felt like the two of them. They had just gotten together. And they're like, now, like they had a fling one summer. And now there's some like sexual tension between them or whatever. But it's like, no, you guys are wearing wedding rings. Like you guys have been married.
Yeah.
And you guys have like almost no chemistry. That
it's whole pretty much zero chemistry. Like there was a moment there that there was like a little bit of chemistry, but there was nothing that was like, oh yeah, these two really like, I believe this.
Yeah,
these two were two separate entities.
Yeah.
entirely, and it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I don't even dislike the fact that Nick Fury has like an alien kink or whatever. That actually like makes a lot of sense for him.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, that whole thing just felt so weird. Like, I was like, when she's first introduced, I'm like, okay, that's neat. And then
Yeah.
it keeps going, and you're like, wait, why? Why are you guys like mad at each other? Like, I don't even.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you guys be
And
on
then
like the same page?
And then she's working for the enemy, but the
Right.
whole time, but not really. And
Yeah.
it's like there's so many of that going on where it's like, oh, this is a good guy, but it's also a bad guy. But they had a change of heart, so they're a good guy again. But they're also a bad guy. But now they're a good guy again. And you're like, dude, I don't care anymore. Like there is no payoff to any of it. Like it's like that she's supposed to kill Nick Fury, and they sit down and he knows, and then they both go to shoot each other and they both decide to miss each other. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like,
what is happening?
There was zero tension with this whole thing. There was zero like emotion behind this, and they're like, man, I can't kill you.
Yeah.
What? Like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, it's bizarre, dude.
Yeah,
It's
totally
a bizarre fucking movie.
Yeah, because
TV show.
Because Gaia was the same way, right? Where she's like, at one point, she's with the enemy, but then she's not, but then she is again. But then at the end, I kind of liked the like she was Nick Fury, but you know she was disguised. I liked that, but yeah, it was just very confusing. And then like the relationship with her and Talos, because I guess she's his fucking daughter, which was so unnecessary. She did not need to be his daughter.
No.
But like, I don't know. I thought Talos was like a good dad or whatever. Like, wasn't that like his whole thing?
And they didn't Captain go into Marvel? Explaining any of that either. It was like, why did she leave? She didn't even know her mom died. Like there were so many unanswered questions about Gaia in general.
Yeah.
That it's like, I don't care about this character.
Yeah, and I just feel like these shows keep giving us these like characters that we're going to see in the future, and I keep asking myself like, are we actually ever going to see these characters again? Like her for one she's OP as fuck now. Like,
oh yeah,
she's the most OP superhero ever.
100%.
And then we've got like Hulk's son. Like, are we ever going to see him again? I don't know. Are we ever going to see Kate Bishop again? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
There's so many like unanswered questions in the MCU now, and every time they make a new project, they don't answer any of the questions from the previous movies.
Yeah, exactly. They forget it completely.
Yeah, which is fine every once in a while, but like, how long has it been since we're like, we don't know who owns the Avengers Tower now?
Yeah, that, and who is not talking about this fucking Titan coming out of the earth?
Right. You would think that Nick Fury would be on top of that shit.
Oh, fuck, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Also, why was Nick Fury in space? They never really answered. Like,
no, they don't.
He was just up there because
he was supposed to help what's her butt, Captain Marvel, find a new place for these guys. But why did he need to be up there?
Yeah, like, why at that point was it like we had all of these Avengers movies where he was down here, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, I'm going to space now.
Yeah, I'm in space for no reason at all.
Yeah, it was so weird.
And who's on the spaceship? Is it other Skrulls? Is it fucking SHIELD agents? Like, who's flying the spaceship while he's down on Earth in this whole series?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess he just has a crew of Skrulls. But then also
why weren't they there? Like, I don't.
In Spider-Man Far From Home as well, if I'm remembering this right, at the end we found out Nick Fury and Maria Hill were Skrulls. It was Talos.
Right. Right, well, Talos and his wife or whatever.
So he was just filling in for Nick Fury. Like, I don't know.
That's what I would assume.
But they never really talked about that either.
Nope.
In this movie.
Nope. They didn't say a damn thing. but he did get blipped. That wasn't Talos, because they do confirm that.
Right.
And they bring up like this thing where it's like he's scared because he got blipped. He's like, you know what? I don't want to be Nick Fury anymore because I got blipped, and I actually enjoyed not, worrying about everybody because I was dead. So like that's probably why he left. But then like none of it makes any sense.
Yeah, it's so weird. And then
so yeah.
I think like the biggest thing that everyone's talking about is the fact that James Rhodes.
Oh. Yeah.
Rhodey is a Skrull. And they also make him comically villainous in this show.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's a fucking Bond villain for sure.
Like comically villainous, which might work if they didn't. And it's just so confusing because they implied that he's been a Skrull since Civil War.
No,
that's what they implied, but they don't say. They just say a long time.
No, but when he gets out of the pod at the last episode, there are two random soldiers. I don't know who these soldiers are. Two random soldiers that help him go wherever they're going. Right. So he has a broken back, obviously.
Right.
Still. So after Civil War is the point where.
Yeah.
He wasn't a Skrull in Civil War, but at some point after that, he gets abducted by the Skrulls.
Right. And they don't say when, they just say you've been abducted for a really long time. That's all they said.
Yeah.
Just a really long time.
So he fought with, everybody in Endgame, and he went to space and all that shit with Nebula, and it's like, why? Was that one of his missions from the bad guy in this one? I forget what his name is. Gravik. This is one of your missions from Gravik, is to help the Avengers, like
the guy from Barbie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he from Barbie?
He's in Barbie, yeah. He's one of the cats. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's so confusing. So it doesn't necessarily say when he was abducted and when he became a Skrull. But they imply it's a long time. So was it before Endgame? And if it was before Endgame, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Because he had that moment with Iron
Nebula.
Man. Well, yeah.
Iron Man. That too. Yeah, both of those moments.
Yeah, and the moment with Nebula where he's like, "I'm broken too," implying my back is broken.
I can't imagine it's before that. I imagine it's after that.
It's got to be after that, which it could be because there's like a good 5-year chunk there.
Probably.
Because there's the entire time of the blip. And then, no, because Endgame is after the blip. So, yeah, fuck, I don't know, man. It would have to happen like right after Endgame, but then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
There's the moment with him being like, I get it. It's hard to be a black man, but then it's like you're not actually a black man. You're an alien.
You're an alien.
So like you don't know that either, and that would be a weird conversation to have.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think the Skrull thing is so weird, and I feel like it almost shouldn't have been introduced.
Yeah, or it should have been done better. I don't know.
Or done better because
or they should have picked someone who was the Skrull like a long time ago and started planting those seeds.
And yep. 100%.
Because it doesn't seem like that's the case. It just seems like, well, we got Don Cheadle, so
yeah, we're able to hire Don Cheadle, so let's make him a Skrull.
He's a big time actor. He's really good. He is good in the show too. Like
let's take War Machine, fucking alien.
Yeah.
Does he have control of the War Machine suit?
I guess he would. You don't see him in the show with it though.
I don't know.
I think a perfect person to be a Skrull in this show would have been Maria Hill.
Yes.
And then she could have been like fucking with Nick Fury the entire
Super
time.
double agent. Yeah.
Like that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But we don't have money for Colby Smulders or whatever her name is, but we've got money for Don Cheadle.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like they just wanted to have Don Cheadle in the show was the whole thing, because he's a big name and it'll draw audience, which it didn't, because this show is not doing well.
No.
Reportedly, it's the worst. For one, it's the worst rated MCU thing period on IMDb, and and also it's just not getting views.
There's no reason to view it. There's nothing.
I mean, it does set up a lot for the future of the MCU, potentially.
Does it, though?
Potentially. Yeah.
Potentially. But everything so far that we've gotten in the last, 5 years after Endgame has just been set up to nothing.
Yeah, it's also weird to set this storyline up where it's like they're all hiding among us. It's like Men in Black. But then it's like we're probably going to get that same storyline when we introduce the X-Men.
Yeah.
So this would have been an interesting X-Men thing where it's like, no, they've been hiding amongst us the whole time or whatever.
But so at the end, here's another thing that just came to my mind. At the end, that they're not going to close out. The president's like, we'll find you and we're gonna kill you.
Right.
And it's like there's a whole bunch of civil unrest and stuff, and people are shooting people and people are shooting Skrulls, and Skrulls are there's now a civil war, an internal civil war where people don't know who is anybody. I guarantee you no mention of it in the next coming stuff. There's not going to be a single thing where it's like, oh yeah, that one episode where the fucking congresswoman gets shot and turns out she was a fucking Skrull. All of the people, all of the main heads of everything, the guy who was the leader of the UN is a Skrull. Yeah. Fuck, man. If that's true, everything would change. Everything's fucking political, polarization would change completely. And they're not going to, I guarantee you, they're not going to bring it up again.
Yeah. And it'd be confused. I would give it a pass if it was okay, Guardians is the next one, so we won't see anything of that. But the next one is the Marvels. And Captain Marvel is connected to the show in a big way. Nick Fury is her bestie.
Yeah.
She was raised by Krees.
Yeah.
Who were the arch enemy of the Skrulls. So if she comes to Earth and there's no mention of the Skrulls in the next Miss Marvel, I won't hold it against Miss Marvel, but I'll hold it against the MCU.
Yeah. Because it's ridiculous, and I feel like they're just kind of the plot is being blurred.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All of the plot points that we have, they don't really mean anything, and it's it's passable as a comic book story to have these things as one-offs. If they did one-offs, okay, this is Secret Invasion, The Run. It's not connected to anything, but the MCU has prided themselves on connecting everything and making everything part of this overall universe. And it's what are you going to do now?
The only thing I could think is maybe we'll see a through line into Captain America New World Order. But I doubt it.
When is that?
I think it's supposed to come out next year, the new Captain America
movie.
I
mean, yeah, barring any delays from the
everything's fucked right now, so
yeah,
we'll see.
We get COVID fucks everything up for entertainment.
Yeah,
but also makes entertainment a huge staple in everybody's lives because they're all bored and they're well, I guess we'll watch fucking Disney Plus and Netflix and shit. And then we get the writer's strike where it's well, we're not gonna make anything anymore.
Yeah, because all these big companies made all that money during COVID, and all the actors and writers are how come we're not seeing any of that? Yeah. Rightfully so.
Well, that's how it is everywhere, though.
Yeah.
In every, this is how capitalism dies. but this is now not a political show. So, but I know that people got upset. I'm pretty sure this is like one of the fuels of the writer's strike was the intro to the show.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a pretty cool idea. If this show was, I liked it because it's like, it kind of asks the question without asking the question. It implies a question of like, how do we know what's real and what's not? How do we know what's made from people and what's not made by people? And it's like obviously it's an AI thing, but I think the message behind the intro and the reasoning behind the intro is really well thought out. But people are like, oh no, it's taking our jobs. But in my mind, I'm like, somebody had to put that together. Like an AI is not going to make an entire intro for a Marvel show. So like, it'll give you images.
I heard them talk about it.
Somebody had to like fucking type this shit out. Samuel L. Jackson's face turning into an alien, or like, you know, the world turning green, and then had to put music to it and put it all together. Like there was a fucking team that put this together still. It wasn't 100% AI.
Yeah.
Like, and there was a good, if in my mind, a good reason behind it to backed behind the story that it was trying to tell, regardless if it told it well or not.
Yeah, they should have known that was gonna not
100%.
But
100%.
But like,
but I can't fault them for that. Is what I'm saying. Like it's I like the idea. I enjoyed the intro. The music's pretty good too. But it's like,
I get the point. I still think it looks whack, but I also heard them talking about it, and they're like, we actually created the imagery and stuff, and then used AI with our imagery to create a thing from the imagery we created or whatever.
And I believe that. Like, you have concept art,
right?
And then the AI just pulls from the concept art and meshes it together.
Yeah, so it's not just like taking from the internet. It's like taking from the concept art that they created and making it from that.
I could see that. I don't know how true that is, but I could see
could
that
just be saying
being
that
true.
To save
face. But that would make sense because TV and movies are like multi-billion dollar industry, right?
Right.
So it's like, they're gonna put time into the littlest things. Maybe not the script though.
Well, we're in an interesting moment for the MCU where I think people are starting to lose interest in it. I'm not going to say comic book fatigue because I don't think it's that.
No, it is not.
Because I've never believed that whole comic book fatigue because you get a movie like Guardians and people are back in, or a movie like, you know, Spider-Verse and people are back in. People are just over them being bad.
Shitty. They're over shitty.
Yeah.
You know, turn and burn series or movies. Like, 100%. Because if you don't really know if Marvel is going to be like, a Marvel movie is going to be a good movie, and you're like, okay, I'm going to put aside 2.5 hours to watch this Marvel movie because I've already invested so much time in it, and now it's bad. And you're like, okay, well, this one was bad. The one before this one was bad. The one before this one was bad. Why do I keep going to these shitty movies? Exactly. And then, you know, you get that one movie that's really good, and it's like, okay, well, that's what I want. And we can't just get that one really good movie because the amount of turnover on these movies and TV shows is and
they used to be
incredible.
I don't believe that Marvel was ever like that consistent, but I feel like they used to be more consistent than they're being right now. Because a lot of these shows are pretty like and then a few of the movies, Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't hate it as much as everyone, but like it's still not great. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think, is one of the worst movies they've released like in a long time.
So bad.
And then, you know, for other people like Eternals, I didn't hate it, but it is one of those things where, like we're talking about, we got Eternals. What's going on with the Turtles? And then all the shows. So we're at this point now where people are like, I don't know. And it's not just Marvel, it's Disney in general. I think people are just like over Disney. because Disney in general is just releasing shit after shit. And I think I read a thing where like the past 3 Disney movies, not Marvel, Disney, that were released have all lost over $150 million.
Oh, good.
Not combined, each one of them.
Each one of them. Good.
Yeah.
And I think
Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones, and Little Mermaid, they all lost like $150 million each.
Good. And that should happen.
Yeah, and I think people are just like over Disney at this point, and they need to figure some shit out. I mean, we'll see what happens with Loki and the Marvels, but if both of those are bad,
yeah,
and
it's
the one like potentially good thing that can come from this, and I've been saying it for forever, Disney keeps putting, you know, $250 million budgets on each one of these projects. And I think they could benefit from just doing like, here's an $80 million budget, you know?
Right.
Here's, or even less than that.
You know, they kind of do that with like the wolf one.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night. Yeah, exactly.
Werewolf by Night. So it was just like one of those small projects or whatever, and
yeah, and then you get people who are like really passionate about this project. They kind of have to work around things, and on top of that, because it's less money, the studio's less worried about it losing money. So there's less studio interference as well.
Yeah.
So like
yeah, exactly.
And we saw it with Deadpool as well, because Deadpool, the only reason it got made over at Fox was because they're like, we'll do it, and we'll do it for $60 million.
Yeah.
Most of their X-Men movies were way more than that. And it ended up making them like $1 billion. So
way more money.
Yeah.
So
just do that. Do a couple of those. Like Blade, I have a feeling Blade is going to be another like $250 million budget. That should not be. That should be like a small rated R movie.
100%.
But it's not going to happen. And I feel like Marvel's in a world of trouble right now. Their storylines make no sense. They say they're building to this Secret Wars thing, but right now it seems like we've got like 10 million different threads going that don't equate to anything, which could be fine if we saw some progression of something somewhere, but it just seems like every movie is starting a new thread, and it's and it's becoming too much. There's no way in hell that before the culmination movie, before the Marvel, or sorry, what is it? The Avengers movie, the next one, whatever that's gonna be. There's no way in hell I'm gonna go back and rewatch all of the newest movies to just remember all of the different threads that they set up. Right.
I'm just gonna go to the movie and go, oh, okay. Like, if I don't remember something because it was in a shitty movie that I kind of just forgot about, I'm not even going to think about it. You know, if they make a reference to something that happened in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I probably won't remember it because that movie was not good at all.
Yeah. I'm getting over Marvel, to be honest, but like, I keep going into these projects though, hoping that something good will come of it. And we did with Guardians, but I don't know. It's not like Guardians is leading anywhere. It felt like a conclusion, which I liked.
You know, it's one of those things that so far, I don't have that, you know, burnout of it just yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge movie person, and it kind of gives me something to do and something to talk about with people. Because, you know, the last 2 movies that I saw that weren't Marvel were Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And I didn't even care to see Oppenheimer, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
Because, like, I love Chris Nolan, but his documentary type, you know, dramas, I'm just not into. I like his thought-provoking shit. And he makes these documentary things so thought-provoking and so twisted and convoluted. It's like, I don't care. anymore. Like, I do not want to think this hard about what you're trying to say about this one particular moment in history.
Yeah.
I just feel like those are very wasted on me.
He would have been great for Secret Invasion, actually. He could have done something cool with that.
Yeah, but I don't think they would have paid that much for him.
Secret Invasion needed more of that, more of the like.
It did.
Deep thinking.
More of the thinking, yeah, because that's kind of how they set it up. It was going to be that, and if you set it up to be something that's like, oh, this is going to be like thought provoking, and you're not going to understand it on the first watch.
It wasn't that at all either.
It wasn't that at all.
It was so basic by the numbers, just like,
yep,
here's a bad guy, we gotta take out the bad guy. That's it.
And you know what the bad guy's plan is? To get stronger
and to genocide humans.
But like, what was the point of the genociding humans if he was going to get stronger? Or what was the point of getting stronger if he was going to genocide all the humans?
The point to get stronger was to genocide the humans, right?
No, he was just going to have the humans create a nuclear holocaust because Skrulls
that's right
aren't affected by radiation.
Yeah, and everything he was doing felt like it was affecting Skrulls too.
Oh yeah,
in a negative way. So it was just very confusing.
It was so poorly done. The bad guys sucked so bad.
Yeah, well acted, but like
so good. Like, yeah, he's great. I loved the acting in it, and the actor who played him. What was his name? Kingsley Ben-Adir. Playing as Gravik. He did a great job at a shitty role, and I kind of wish he would have done something else, because I genuinely liked how he was portraying the character. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just such a bad. It's just a bad thing.
It's just a bad thing.
It's just a bad thing. Yeah. Skip it. Don't support this one. Yeah. It's not worth it.
If you've gotten this far and haven't watched it, skip it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And if you've watched it and gotten this far, good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you
for watching. Thank you. All right, let's you want to rate this?
Let's rate it.
All right, here we go. All right, see you later, Sam Jackson. It was good talking to you. It was nice to have you here. Oh, thank you so much, guys. All right, see you later. There we go.
All right, where does this land? A, B, C, or D?
Yeah, this is our ranking list right here. There's so many fucking movies. We've had to categorize them into
that sucks. It's mirrored on my screen. I didn't even think about it. Whatever, it's fine.
Oh, is it really?
It's fine.
Okay. It's obviously in the worst category, which is
D tier. Yeah.
Our D category, our D tier.
You want to read them out? Read out the D tiers.
Which includes Avengers: Age of Ultron, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Thor: The Dark World, and Thor. I'm just gonna straight up put this bitch on the bottom.
I think that's where it goes. Yeah.
You think that's okay? I'm glad we're on the same page.
I'd rather watch any of those.
As I said them in that order, I'm like, yep. That was a much better experience. That was a much better experience. That was a better experience. Yeah, it's still a better experience.
Like, I almost feel like we create a whole new tab called F, just for Secret Invasion.
It's just for Secret Invasion.
We'll keep it in D. It's fine.
I mean, we still have to adjust these because we literally just broke them up into equal sections.
Yeah. Because Age of Ultron's probably in C, to be honest. But
yeah, we did Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's way up there.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, Avengers Endgame, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 are all at the top.
Loki season 2, that's the next one.
Loki season 2 is the next one, but before that, I believe that we are watching Ahsoka.
Hell yeah, bro!
On the Star Wars live action.
Hell yeah! And speaking of Chris Nolan, did you he did an interview.
Oh, he's back.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam, what's going on, guy? Yeah, well, I love Chris Nolan.
I want to be in a Chris Nolan movie. I love Sam Jackson in a Chris Nolan movie. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that motherfucker is my best friend.
I thought that was Quentin Tarantino, bro.
Oh, him too. They all look the same.
All white people, they all look the
all
same.
All white people look the same.
That's true. I agree with that.
Okay. All right. See you later, I guess.
Yeah, Chris Nolan in an interview was like, they were like, so would you do a Marvel movie? And he's like, no, I would not do a Marvel movie. And then they're like, would you do a Star Wars movie? And he just sort of paused and he's like, maybe. So that'd be interesting.
Dude, that would be really cool.
Disney would have to get the fuck out of his way though and let him do what he wanted to do.
100%.
And I think that's why he'll never do it.
I feel like he could not be like linked to anything in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. It's just like, okay, so this is not it's not going to have Luke or Ahsoka or any Skywalker or any Mandalorians. It's going to be set in the Star Wars universe. There's going to be Star Wars characters and makeup and aliens. No characters. There's not a single character that can link up to any character that you know of at any point.
He could do
and
High
I think
Republic.
that's the way that he would do it. Ooh, that would be cool. That would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason he hesitated is probably because the original trilogy has like nostalgia for that and was like an influence on him.
100%.
He won't do it, but I just thought it was interesting. And I think the only reason he said no to Marvel was because he's like, I did Batman and I don't want to do another comic book movie. Like, I'm over it. I did it. It's done.
Yeah.
I want him to do James Bond. That's what I want.
Oh, fucking Chris Nolan, James Bond.
But
sick. Like, James Bond's so goofy and Chris Nolan's so grounded.
I mean, the newer James Bonds aren't that goofy. A bit more grounded.
They're kind of goofy. I guess so.
Chris Nolan could get kind of goofy. He made Batman.
Yeah, Batman's
pretty fucking goofy.
His Batman is the most grounded Batman, though.
Yeah, and he could do the most grounded James Bond.
Yeah, but I feel like that's kind of ruining James Bond, and like that's going against.
Well, and
James
Daniel
Bond
Craig's was already sort of the grounded James Bond,
right?
Until the last, movie.
The more believable one. I didn't see the last one, but
so awesome, dude. He goes nutso in that. Yeah, he has all the gadgets in that one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see him doing a Star Wars. But it wouldn't have any fucking. I could see him doing something without Jedis. You know, something very low to the ground about the people in the situation and not about the people who made the situation, if that makes sense.
He could redo the prequels and make that really interesting.
Redo them?
Yeah, because he could make that like political intrigue like way more interesting.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, just let him like redo it.
That would be cool. If he just did like a political intrigue about the Senate and turning the Senate into an empire.
Yeah, he could do that.
He could. I could see that.
Yeah, I feel like give it. I'm gonna say, give it 40 years. I know that sounds like a long time.
40 years? He's gonna be
not for Chris Nolan.
Old.
Not for Chris Nolan.
Okay.
Let me finish. Give it 40 years, and we'll start seeing Star Wars remakes. And I feel like that's being conservative, or that's being liberal.
Either way, it's being one of those things.
I think it'll probably happen sooner than that.
Okay,
that's what I mean. But I'm saying 40
well, thanks
to be
for
generous.
watching the Loner Cast MCU.
Well, here's the question for you, Nick.
Okay,
it's coming soon. Supposedly next year. I don't believe it. I think it's going to be longer than next year. Probably 2025.
Okay. All right. Get to the fucking point. Jesus Christ.
DCU is starting. With James Gunn's Superman.
Yeah.
Do we do one of these for the DCU?
I'm going to hold my...
We could get in on the ground floor.
I'm going to hold off until it's like, one or two movies in and they're both really good.
Fair enough. What if Superman comes out and it's just an absolute bop?
Bop? Did you say bop?
Yeah. Just like a total banger of a movie.
Well, then we could do a one-off, but I wouldn't even begin to start ranking them until we're 5 movies in.
Of course, yeah.
So that's fine. That's cool with me doing Loner Cast reviews.
It's gonna be a couple years. We could be dead by then. So
we could be dead. Especially you.
I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, it's for real. I'm in bad shape.
Anyway, thanks for watching the Loner Cast live reviews, coming to you live on twitch.tv/lonercast, where we review your favorite forms of entertainment on this show. Thanks, Jake, for joining me, and thanks again, Sam Jackson, for joining us. I know he didn't say much. He said a little bit at the beginning and then popped in there randomly at the end. So thanks for Sam Jackson for joining us. And we'll see you on this show, on the MCU show right after Loki season 2.
Oh yeah, Loki, and then again in November for the Marvels.
The Marvels as well. So we got a couple of things to look forward to. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and subscribe to our Twitch channel too, or whatever. Donate to your local. But no, I was gonna say donate to your local animal shelter and love your mother in the ass.
Wow.